a guest for today's video. I've been doing a lot of sit down videos recently, but there's been lots of topics that I just kind of want to talk about, and I've been really like on a roll with it. So when I was doing a minimalism video last week, when I was clearing out my bedroom, I realised that not many of you know where I've come from and how far I've come and how much I've changed in the past year. I started my YouTube channel kind of as a project to document my healthy changes in my life, and minimalism became one of them very, very quickly. It almost happened by accident. So I just really want to kind of go back to where I started, because I think that a lot of us have come from that place or are in that place now. And yeah, I just want to share that with you. So I want to go back to right in the beginning, when I started to be a shopaholic, when I started to love fashion, when I started to enjoy beauty and makeup and all of that. And I was fairly normal in the sense that I started to love makeup and beauty around the age of probably like 10 or 12. Before that, I'd been a massive tomboy. I couldn't have cared less about what I looked like. Most of my friends were boys. I was always outdoors. I used to wear just like this horrible cap thing and like boys clothing all the time because I just had no interest. And then when I came to the age of about 10, 11, I started to care about the way I looked because of magazines and because of the media, honestly. And I was a normal girl. I started to experiment with things like makeup. I just really kind of very quickly became obsessed with it. I then started to watch YouTube, and I started to love watching beauty gurus on YouTube. So I started watching people like Pixie Woo and Tanya Burr and Lisa Eldridge, and I don't even know, and I think it was called Juicy Star 07 or something like that. And that was when my obsession with YouTube began, but that's another story. And yeah, I just became addicted to makeup. I wanted all the makeup palettes and I wanted all the different styles of makeup just so I could recreate the looks that these girls were showing. And I always felt kind of, I don't know, incomplete and kind of not good enough because I didn't have the money to go out and buy all the makeup that they were showing off. As I got older, I started to have a little bit more disposable income, I suppose, and I started to extend my obsession with makeup to things like fashion. I think that my obsession with fashion started probably in college. I always liked clothes before that, but I kind of was a bit more of a teenager in an angsty phase of being an emo and a mosher and caring about music and all of that. I really wasn't fussed so much about fashion at that stage. And when I came to the age of like 16, I started to be obsessed with fashion and fashion magazines, fashion bloggers. I would buy Vogue, Elle, all of those magazines regularly. Like every single month I would have to have like a Glamour, an Elle and a Vogue, and I was obsessed with celebrities, so like stylish celebrities like Alexa Chung and Olivia Palermo, and I idolised them. I thought that they had the best life. I thought that that is kind of what I aspired to. I wanted to be like these models that I was looking at. I wanted the clothes that they had. I wanted to be a fashion blogger. I wanted to be a fashion beauty guru on YouTube. But I always felt a bit insignificant and like I couldn't. So instead I just went out and spent all of my money on clothes. I worked summer jobs and spent all of my savings on clothes in Topshop, in Zara, and on ASOS and New Look. And this started to become a bit of a problem for me because there were situations where I borrowed money from my parents and I couldn't pay them back. Every single day after college I would go into town, look through the shops and buy stuff even though I didn't have the money for it. I don't know, I had this insatiable desire to be rich, to look good, to be, you know, to be a fashion blogger, a model, all these things. I just wanted them all. And I don't really know why when I think about it. I think that I kind of thought that that meant that you'd be happy and that meant that you'd be good enough, or you get some kind of approval, you know? It kind of came from my artistic side. I always was an artistic person. I loved art, I loved drama, I loved music, I loved anything to do with that, and I think I found some sort of artistic expression in fashion. I'd look through fashion magazines and I'd enjoy looking at the different photo shoots that they've done. I'd try and recreate them with the clothes that I had in my wardrobe. And I would love hunting through vintage shops and finding sort of interesting and unique pieces, and in that sense I got a real sense of enjoyment from fashion and from beauty as well. With makeup, I loved expressing myself through makeup. On that side it was very innocent, it was just my artistic expression. But on the other hand, there is that time when you're a teenager when you don't really quite fit in, when you don't really understand yourself fully, when you just kind of feel like you need some approval from somewhere in terms of your looks or whatever. and you kind of feel like you have to fit in somewhere, and I felt like the way I could fit in and the way I could show myself off was through dressing up and wearing fashionable clothing. And people would comment every single day, oh my gosh, your clothes, you're so fashionable, you're so cool, I love your outfits. And it almost became my, well, it was my thing for so many years. Like, I was the fashionable girl and the girl who loved makeup and who was good at hair and makeup and all of that, and all of my friends would seek help from for those sorts of things from me. In those senses, it was really fun, and I don't like hate fashion. Obviously, I'm wearing makeup, I've got like a nice top on, I love fashion and makeup, but it became something that wasn't making me happy deep down. It was making me insecure. If I didn't wear a nice outfit, I would feel shit about myself. If I walked out the house without makeup, I felt shit about myself. At university, almost kind of got worse because I was surrounded by a lot of wealthy people who had lots of money to spend on clothes, and I would see their designer clothes, their designer bags, and I would try and chase after that. And I worked 2 jobs at university at one point. I would have to go shopping every single week. I would go charity shopping. Charity shopping was probably my biggest kryptonite because it enabled me to buy lots of things, but at a bargain price. My boyfriend always used to say to me, oh, why can't you just wear that dress tonight? And I'd say, well, I wore that last time. And he'd say, well, it doesn't matter, it's a lovely dress. But I would insist on buying a new dress. I would borrow money from him to buy dresses. I was the girl in Confessions of a Shopaholic, you know, when she's got those wardrobes stuffed filled with clothes, and it's almost bursting at the seams, and she's stifling through all her bills, thinking, oh God, how am I gonna pay this next? I mean, thankfully, I didn't ever get into any sort of financial problems. I just spent all the money that I had. So all the money I earned from jobs and stuff, I spent on clothes, which now is really sad to me because I don't have savings like I should do, because I spent all of it on clothes and shoes and makeup. It was only when I went vegan that I started to open my mind up a little bit to other ways and sort of looking at things from a different perspective. And other vegans have talked about this too, how when you learn about veganism, for some reason, it opens your eyes to a lot of other things. I think it's because you're questioning the status quo and you're kind of being like, oh, is this the way I should be doing things? Am I living by my morals? Am I just doing what everyone else does, or am I doing what I want to do? It kind of leached into other areas of my life, and I saw lots of vegans talk about minimalism, and lots of vegans live minimally, so not owning a lot, traveling, being free with their life, and owning just a backpack of clothes. So I think that had a really positive impact on me, and I kind of stopped shopping as much, and I kind of focused on other things. And the time that I really sort of stopped buying clothes was actually honestly when I finished university, and I physically didn't have the money to afford it. I moved out of home and I moved into a flat with a friend and my sister. I didn't have a job at the time, and I was job hunting, I was unemployed, and it was just a really hard time financially. I didn't physically have the money to go out and buy clothes anymore. And in a weird way, that was really cleansing for me. That was a real eye-opener, because at that point I couldn't go out and satisfy that craving to go shopping. I just had to make do with the clothes that I had and wear them over and over. And I kind of started to enjoy it, and I kind of got some satisfaction from saving my money and not spending it. So at the start of this year, I moved into this new flat, the one I'm living in now, with my boyfriend, and also I started my YouTube channel. And I think that was a real turning point in my life in terms of everything. I was really determined not to spend a lot of money because I was saving to go traveling, and I really wanted to be minimal with it. And I became inspired by lots of YouTubers like Raw Alignment, Ted Carr, Jenny Mustard. There are loads of vegans who are also just minimalists in their life in general that I started to draw information from, and I decided not to buy any home stuff because I felt myself becoming tempted. I felt myself looking at little trinkets around the house when I was out and about and thinking, no, I really don't need those, I'm going to stop. I'm only going to buy plants and things that I absolutely need for the house, and everything else I'm going to source secondhand and just make do with what I had. And it was a really therapeutic process, and I really enjoyed it. And I also really enjoyed the way the house looked, because I got rid of a lot of stuff that I didn't want around the house. I started to look and think, do I need that? Like, why do I own that? And then I kind of decided I'm gonna do an overhaul of my flat, because I own so much stuff. I own so many clothes, I own so many things that I don't use. And I think that the reason that I realized it was because I was living, not on my own, I mean living with my boyfriend, but it was my first home that I was living in that was mine. Everything is my stuff, and I started to realise how much stuff I had, and it kind of made me feel a bit claustrophobic, made me feel a bit like everything was messy all the time. Everything was just all over the place, and I'm sure you can understand what I mean when you have a lot of stuff, how messy things get. So I decided to go all out, and I was like, right, this is it. I'm going to start a minimalism series on my channel where I get rid of everything and I start my journey, I document it, and other people can do it along with me, and the rest is history, honestly. I've slowly just got rid of more and more things in my home, and it's kind of gone further into all aspects of my life. I haven't gone shopping in God knows how long. I can't remember the last time I went out shopping. I think the last time I did that was for Christmas last year when I was buying Christmas presents for my friends and family. But I just don't do that anymore, and I don't want to. I just have no desire. I have more of a desire to reduce. I have thoroughly enjoyed the process of getting rid of things, of slowly reducing one thing at a time, one room at a time, and reaping the rewards. The fact that I now don't have so many clothes that I need to wash, the fact that my kitchen just stays tidier because there's not so many pots and pans. I'm doing no poo, so I don't have to buy hair products. I can't explain to you how much of a life changer exploring minimalism has been for me, and how much it has changed my life. And I know that my future is so much brighter, not holding weight on material things, not holding emphasis on outside things to make the inside happy, focusing more on my life and moving forward with my life, and doing all that I wanted to do and all that I dreamed about. And that may seem strange to talk that way about just not owning things and not buying things, but it really does open your life up to things that are more important. When you focus on having a big house, having a nice car, having the designer bag, you're not focusing on things that actually truly will make you happy in the long run. You're focusing on things that will only satisfy you temporarily, and I know because I've been there. You're not actually serving your life purpose, you're not living your dream, you're not going out there and doing what you want to do. And that's what I've done this year. I've started a YouTube channel, I've shared my thoughts and everything on here, and I've had so much fun, and I cannot wait for the future. I'm really enjoying everything at the minute, and I think that it's largely to do with minimalism and how cleansing it's been. The way I look at the world is so different. I don't look and think, oh gosh, I need that new hair product because it does this to your hair. Oh, I need that new eyeshadow because it's a different colour to that eyeshadow that I have. I look at things in the complete opposite way. I would rather do anything but buy something because I want to see what I have already to make that work for me. Anyone probably who knows me from college or university would probably watch this video and be like, what the hell, you're a different person, because frankly I am. I've changed so much, and I am all the happier for it. I highly encourage for you to do the same. Start small, start clearing out one bit at a time, one room at a time. Start changing your mentality towards consumerism, materialism. Don't buy into marketing and media and what they tell you to do. Do what you want to do in your heart and what makes you truly happy. I promise you, you will only reap the rewards and experience all the benefits from it. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm going to be doing hopefully more videos like this in the future. Let me know if you have any video requests to do with minimalism. This was just kind of, I suppose, a little story I took you on, but if you have any more specific things you'd like to know about minimalism or where I've come from or anything, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!